Hey there, MSP people. My name is Eric from Support Adventure, and this is MSP Mountain. And I wanted to make this video about tips that you can implement in your MSP to be a premium MSP. Now, this is something I see a lot of people claim to be because one of the questions that I ask when I first start talking to MSPs is, are you a premium solution, a middle of the road MSP, or a discount low cost MSP? And lots of companies believe that they're premium, but they don't actually live up to my standards of what a premium MSP would do and does in terms of operations, branding, and consultation with their clients. So let's jump into it. And I think you'll find this quite interesting because, well, I've always wanted to be a premium IT support provider since I was 16 years old, and I started my own business in my neighborhood of Toronto, Canada, called Rosedale. And basically, it's a difference in philosophy. So number one, and this is basically something that you really need to realize is at the core of premium service is charge more than your competitors and simplify the pricing. So when I was 16, I started my own business called Computer Genius for Hire in the Rosedale Moore Park area of Toronto. And basically, because I was from that neighborhood and it was quite an affluent neighborhood, being the guy from the neighborhood who was providing that service, I could charge a premium price. So while other people were kind of charging, $40 an hour, $50 an hour, $60 an hour, I charged $85 an hour Canadian at that point. And what that essentially meant is that people knew I was serious. From the pricing, knew that I considered myself premium, and they had an expectation of good service, which I delivered. If you're middle of the road at pricing, people expect mediocre results, and if you're a discount service, they're going to expect to get a bargain out of you and maybe not get the same level of service. But if you're a premium provider and you can follow it up operationally, then you should charge accordingly. So number two, reject penny pinching clients. So when I was running my business, I immediately knew when someone called up and wanted to bargain on the price, they were not the person for me. The people who I wanted to work with were ultra successful people from my own neighborhood who had their stuff together to the point that they could afford to pay me $85 an hour to come and fix their computer. I was not interested in bargaining on the price at all because I learned the lesson from doing it a couple times because the people who wanted to bargain on price were actually the worst clients. Actually, they were the people who would most question my expertise, for example. Number three, build stable contracts of happy customers who will love what you do and build a referral culture. This is very important. So you want stability, you want consistency, and you want to deliver results to clients that they love so they tell their friends, because word of mouth is the most powerful type of marketing. And in fact, in a lot of this stuff, you're asking, why am I not talking more about marketing in this video? It's because you don't need to go crazy on marketing if you have happy clients, if you have the right sort of brand identity, and you have the right operational strategy to back it up. So I'm going to go into those three now, starting with branding. So part B of this video is about branding. And you should focus more on branding because a lot of MSPs, well, I look at them, I do like 9 calls with new MSPs a week sometimes. So the most ever was 12. And I look at the websites of these MSPs before I go on them, and only about 1 out of 10 has anything unique about their website. Most of them focus on the features of their service and not the benefit to the clients. They've got a sort of page full of technologies that they use and services that they offer, but they don't really talk about the emotions of what people are going to feel when they're using their service. They don't really talk about the identity of their company as a brand and what people can expect from that. So, number 4 tip for being a premium MSP provider is make promises to your clients that you can keep. Now, why is this branding? Why is this not on the contract? Well, because something about branding, people think branding is just a logo, but branding is about defining a personality for your company. And all the things you would think of for a person, like he's reliable, she's hardworking, and they're brilliant and genius and all that stuff. People attribute to brands, and so you want your you want your brand to be trustworthy. So you need to make promises to the clients that you can keep operationally, and manage expectations of who you are and what you do. And you know, if you promise them that someone's gonna, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you promise someone to answer the phone immediately and help them with their problem anytime that they call, 24 hours a day, then you better do that. But that's one of the worst practices, to promise that. But if you promise a certain level of service, like a callback within 1 hour, then you need to put an operational framework behind that to back that up. And then people will start to trust your brand. They'll start to take your advice. They'll start to take your best practices that you give them on how to get the best service out of your service. Does that make sense? On the other side, number 5, yeah, you need to educate the client about your service and its boundaries. That's what I was just talking about. The service and its boundaries. So how to best use your service. Educate them on that. Educate them on the difference between submitting a ticket through the portal and through a ticket and calling up. Let them know that if they call up, the dispatcher or whoever answers the phone is going to have to waste 2 minutes of their time, 3 minutes of their time raising the ticket. Whereas if they just sent an email and used a functionality that you had to book a call at a certain time, they wouldn't have to spend those 2 minutes. They send the email, hey, this is my issue. And then the ticket would be automatically created and dispatched so that someone calls them back at the right time. And educate them on basically the boundaries of your service. Say like, well, we're deploying Microsoft technology to your environment, and our boundary is this: we cannot control what Microsoft does with its cloud servers. So if it goes down, that's not our fault, but we'll do everything we can to give you workarounds and different strategies to deal with it if Microsoft ever goes down. But make it clear where your responsibility ends with vendors and all that stuff. It's very important, because a lot of the time people will just think their IT support provider, it's their fault that the exchange online is down. And I've actually seen one MSP get completely devastated by this once.